Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with another episode of the Commissioner's Podcast. I'm the host and commissioner, Zach the Gloffman. Joining me as is the reigning champion. Started off slow, is at 4-4 currently. No one other than Spencer Mittelman.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing good, man. AKA Purdy's Purdy.
Yes, trophy sitting upstairs. It's beautiful decor in my family room, so
I can't believe you don't have it
you
with you.
got to show it off. So anytime someone comes in the house, I'll make sure that other people see that. So it's like, oh yeah, fantasy champion right here. So,
That's good.
but I will say the new trophy that we have for this season looks pretty good. Like we'll see who takes it home. I don't
Oh yeah.
think I will this season. I think I kind of put myself in too deep of a hole, but. Good luck to everyone else in the league. It'll be interesting to see how we finish out.
Yeah, it's shaping out to be a good season, man. I really think everyone's still in the mix. I think Kyle's pretty tough, but I mean, there's a lot of good teams. I feel like a lot of people have some good players.
I agree. I'm interested to see how it finishes out since, like you said, Kyle has a good team, but if he has another week like he did, what was it? Not this previous week, the week before,
Mm-hmm.
where he only scores like 80 points or something like that in a week. That doesn't look good. Like we don't want another mistake. We don't want someone to have a mistake that Bradbury had last year.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of tough for that to happen now with
Uh-huh.
with the way fantasy is. Like you really have to make sure your lineups are set. It doesn't like save for you. So you got like we don't want someone to have that mistake again. So I'm interested to see how it turns out. Um, and the nice thing is, no one's running away with the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's no team that's undefeated or only has a loss. Like everyone's kind of even this season.
Yeah, I think like every matchup's pretty even met, man. Like even the teams with lower win totals, like it's never a cheap win. You know,
No,
sometimes you run into a low scoring person, but it's few and far and in between, whatever the saying
it's
is.
the two teams that are the best are Clint and Kyle, and they're 6-2. But we have two teams that are 5-3, and then everyone else is 4-4, 3-5, and then but it's one of those things like it's like okay, so anyone can come out of nowhere. So I'm really interested to see where it goes from the when we get late towards the playoffs
Yeah.
and after all these teams have had their bye. Um,
Yeah, really
so
haven't had too many people. Like there haven't been that many big bye weeks. Like these next like 4 or 5 weeks are littered with bye weeks.
right,
So guys are
it
really
it'll
gonna
be
have to overcome some challenges here.
guys are gonna have to overcome some challenges and really be strategic with their lineup changes, putting in guys where they know that they are going to get points.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some players where they're not playing to their potential.
Yeah.
There are some players where it's like this player isn't that good. Like this player isn't playing well. Like use an example. Like for me, I have Mahomes. Mahomes has been terrible this season,
Mm-hmm.
fantasy wise. Like there's a reason I started Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes last week. It worked. I got the win, but is that good in the long run? I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
The thing that hurts in my case. So since I have Bo Nix, Broncos defense, and Javonte Williams, I have
Yeah,
three
it's
Broncos.
tough.
Their bye is week 14.
Mm.
Isn't that like the last week of fantasy?
It's definitely. I think technically it's 16, but that's right at the beginning of the playoffs, though. I think.
So it depends on where I'm seated. Like if I start getting hot, and then I have three guys on a bye, those are
Yeah.
three tough players to replace in a shortened time because I don't want to. I may just have to move in my bench, and I don't want to drop them because someone could pick them up. So this is where you really have to think about okay, how can I improve my team for the long run when it gets tough. So, and I'm not 100% sure, when's the trade deadline for us? Is it the same as the NFL?
Let me actually take a look.
Because if it's next week, like after next week, then you're gonna see we may see a ton of trades going through in the next week, or we may not see any.
Yeah.
Because we did have that couple week lull where there were no trades, and then the second we started doing trades, there were what, like 5 trades
There
in
were so many of them right away.
in like 2 days or something like that.
Seriously. Let me see.
Like,
Um, roster tools, trade review.
I am interested to see where things end up and see how the season goes, and see who really has the best team.
Yeah.
Because Kyle's 6-2, but is his team a 6-2 team?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely question marks on his team. That's for sure. I'm about to find it right here. Okay, yep. Trade deadline is November 27th.
Oh wow,
So,
we still have another month.
yeah, we still have plenty of time.
Okay, I wasn't sure if the trade deadline for us
Was the same as
corresponded with the NFL trade deadline.
No, it's a good question, and we got the answer. But November 24th.
There
So
we
we got about a
go.
month, a little less than a month, but
So let me ask you this, since you're the podcast, you're the host of this podcast,
hey,
the very famous podcast.
yes,
Big fan, by the way.
glad to hear
You're
it.
3-5.
Tough. It's tough, man.
It's not last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely
But
not.
do you think you can make a run and get better, or are you gonna be sticking around where you're at now?
I think I have a chance, man. Like I really do because my team is scoring points. Like I can't just walk into the locker room and just be like, "Hey, we suck across the board." No, we're putting up 125 points a week. Let me just read off some scores through this losing streak. So I lost to Kyle. I scored 90 points. Not a
Mm-hmm.
great week. All right, but now listen to these next 4 losses I've taken.
Okay.
I lost 131 to 127 to you. So
Okay.
127 points lost.
That was a sweat one. Like,
That
we
was
were
a
both
sweaty
sweating
game.
that one out.
That was a sweaty game.
That was that was,
Next week I get Spencer Bradbury. I lose
yeah.
142 to 127. So
Okay.
another 127 points again. I lose. The following week, Dylan puts 158 on me.
Oh Jesus.
I score 125.
Oh jeez.
So, and then last week I scored 127 points again. And I
Yeah.
lost one by Cade put up 145. So
That
127 and then a 125 out of the last 4 weeks, and I haven't
well, hey,
and I didn't get a win.
that's well, and I feel the same thing. My first 2 games of the season, I lose to Will. Will's one win, mind you.
Yeah.
I put up 138 points, but Will's team puts up 176.
Yeah.
Week 2, I put up 144 and lose. Like, it's my games now are the opposite of last year. Last year when I lost by nothing. Like, I lost by nothing last year. This year, when I lose, it's a pretty substantial loss,
Yeah.
but when I'm winning, it's like, that's too close. Like, I beat you by what, 4?
Yeah, by 4.
4 points or whatever.
Yeah.
I beat Bradbury by 2 last week. I beat Dylan by 13 this week. Like,
it's ridiculous.
It's one of those things you just kind of need to pick up. Your team needs to pick up steam. And I don't know if you have this, but do you have it when you play someone and you lose? The other team has a player who has like a career day.
Yeah. Yeah. Every week, bro.
Like, there's always one player who has a career day, and you're like, what am I doing? Like,
it's like, dude, what can I buy one of those, please? Like, dude, I had Kyle Pitts score 2 touchdowns last week, and I lose, bro.
And it's the guy you don't expect to do that.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, come
Because
on.
going up against Dylan, his highest scoring player was Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams and Baker Mayfield. But I countered it with James Cook. So those kind of evened out. And I think now is the time where we're really, I think as our league, we're realizing we'll have a player who's on our bench and we know they're going to go off. But if we put them in our starting lineup, they're not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to weigh the pros and cons. It's like, can I afford this player to go off versus starting someone where I'm like, you may not get the production, and you're like trying to figure out who should play and who shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Big time, man. Big time. Losing Stephon Diggs just now kind of hurts me.
That does hurt, and I think that just hurts for the Texans in general.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of trouble now, I think.
Is CJ just going to have to throw to Tank Dell every play?
Yeah, I don't know. That
doesn't
sound like.
I think Nico Collins is still on IR, or he'll be coming off IR soon.
Yeah, probably another 2 weeks though. I think this. I don't know. It's either been 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but he's at least got another week.
He's at least got a couple more weeks. Looking at the league, I think the teams that should probably we should probably look out for. Hunter's always tough competition, I think, in the league.
Yeah.
Dylan, like you said, Dylan can put up 150 points in a week if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey.
Oh, look who decided to join us.
Yeah, look at that. Hunter Cromley, Chef Boy HC, joining the pod. We were just talking
What
about
up, what up?
We were just speaking of the devil. And how trash you are. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
No, we were just saying that you're one of those. You have one of those teams that could get hot in a second and go on like a huge winning streak.
Yeah, I need TJ Hawkinson to come back and be good, and then I think I'll be fine. I've somehow stumbled upon wide receiver depth now, and now I have just some running backs, so it feels kind of weird not having the running back depth that I had throughout the season. But I think I'll be okay with what I have going on right now.
Yeah, me and you literally swapped now because now I don't have any wide receiver depth. Because of the Diggs injury.
Yeah.
Now the only other receiver I have on my team is Jerry Jeudy.
Oh boy.
I have the three big ones: Kupp, Wilson, AJ Brown, and then I got Jerry Jeudy.
Do you have an abundance of running backs?
And now my running backs are Nick Chubb, David Montgomery. I have Tank Bigsby and ETN. I also have Zach Moss and Tyrone Tracy.
Why do you have 5 running backs?
Well, I've been accumulating trying to find one that's good to start.
See, okay, because I now have an abundance of wide receivers. It doesn't help that one of my wide receivers is on IR in Mike Evans.
Yeah.
That trade was a blessing and a curse because I made that trade and now I've won 2 games in a row. So I just want to say thanks, Marcus, because you inspired my team to go win 2 in a row after calling my team trash. So.
Oh, yes. I love it. We keep receipts on this podcast, boys. We keep receipts on.
He said that my team was probably could have been the next team that could have gotten relegated. I could have been the next one to get relegated, and then I go out and win 2 in a row. So, yes, we hold receipts here. I know Hunter does because Hunter's a smart man.
Yep. I especially after the start of the season, after starting 0-2, I had a lot of people, aka Mr. Last Place, trying to give me some shit for how bad my team started, and then man, how quick the cookie crumbles, huh?
The mighty do fall.
See, and the tough thing with
he's been avoiding the pod.
See, the tough thing now with our league though is so Will's team is he doesn't have a good record, but the person who's in next to last place only has a 2-game lead on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
I didn't say names. I was thinking Cade, but okay.
There is another one. Cade is there
Oh wait,
too.
it is you because Cade just beat you.
Yeah, but I think it goes by overall points scored though. It doesn't go head to head until after points.
Let me ask real quick. So regarding when we get to the end of the season and like for punishment and everything, and I know that'll probably come out here in the next couple of weeks because I think Remy is putting that all together.
Yeah, I actually do. Good thing to remind me. I do have the top 5, I think.
Okay.
So I'll reveal that.
We can get into that.
Yeah.
We can get into that in a little bit. But so it's the person who comes in last place. It's like the person with the worst record. Or is it the one who loses the consolation bracket?
So for the punishment, it's last place of the consolation bracket.
Okay.
So if you get relegated, you can technically save yourself from the punishment.
You just have to winning a game in the consolation bracket.
And here's the thing, though, is we're thinking about voting on how we do the consolation bracket.
Okay.
If we want to do just straight up head-to-head matchups,
mm-hmm.
or if you want to do like we just accumulate your score over the entire consolation tournament, and then whoever has the lowest combined score. I think it's like 3 weeks of playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Is it so? Does it do 8 teams make the playoffs and 4 make consolation, or is it 6 and 6?
I believe so. I believe it's 8 and 4.
8 and 4. Okay. It'll be interesting to see because, well, and it's one of those things like we won't probably need to vote. In my opinion, I wouldn't make a vote on it until we get closer to it.
Yeah.
Because it's too close to tell at who's going to be in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Like, I know we still have 8, 9 more weeks of fantasy football, of the season still going.
Yeah,
but
have plenty of time.
Once we get closer to it, we can see and see the trends of who might be in it. Because if we were looking at the standings right now, it would be Cade, Will, you, and Marcus.
Oh, it makes
that would be the 4 in the consolation. Sorry, Marcus.
Being grouped in with those guys, man. I scored points. I should win games. I hate this game, bro.
Hey,
but it is what it is.
Hey, you just don't want to come in last. That's all you gotta do. Just don't come in last.
I want to win the fucking belt, though, man. Fuck.
Hey, all you gotta do is come in 11th. Then next year you can win the belt.
Yeah.
But also remember, you're the commissioner. You're gonna get to hang on to the trophy, the other trophy.
That's true.
It's gonna be sitting at your house. So.
Yeah. Keep my baby close. That's good.
I know it hurt Spencer. I know it hurt Spencer putting my name on the trophy over the summer. So.
Oh yeah.
I know Hunter's just waiting to pounce and try and win that trophy.
I'm trying.
Either of them.
I'm really trying to.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, man. Everyone wants that thing, man. Everyone wants their name etched into the Hall of Heroes, bro. Shout out.
It'll be interesting to see. Is there a team that either of you aren't really scared of fantasy, of the upper echelon teams in our league that you're not scared of?
Clint.
If I had to take a look, nothing on him or his team.
I like Clint.
I'd probably go the other Spencer.
He's got. We'll get into Spencer's team here in a sec, but Josh Allen, Gibbs, Taylor, love that for him. But he's rolling out Jackson Smith and Jigba, Cortland Sutton. He does have Mark Andrews, who's been better. He does have Chuba Hubbard, but Brooks is on his way back. And his bench he's got Sam Laporta, and then he's got Coker, Justice Hill, Isaiah Likely, Ced Tillman. Bengals defense on his bench. I don't know. I feel like he's relying too heavily on those top three guys, and when you rely that
He's
heavily on one position group, it can bite you, man.
it's one of those things. He's one injury or one bye week away from having a disastrous weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's Jonathan Taylor, like in the Colts suck in 1 week, and then David Montgomery to have a 3-touchdown game away from like scoring 40 points.
Right.
In my opinion, but listen, my team hasn't been winning, so it's like it's tough for me to say anything because you've lost 5 in a row now, and we went through the scores 125 like average. Like I gotta find points somewhere, and I think that's Tyrone Tracy on my bench with the Giants. He's been pretty freaking good lately, but he's in the concussion protocol now, so we don't know what's happening with that. So now I'm stuck between Chubb and ETN, and I feel like you got to lean towards Chubb because ETN has just he's got a hamstring, he's had a shoulder, like just
Is he in the doghouse? Even though he's not, even when he's been healthy, he hasn't played.
Yeah, and Tank Bigsby's been better, so that's why I have both of them, is so I can kind of maybe see who's going to be the better one and then utilize them.
Right.
To help me out.
It'll help you now that it also helps you having Tua back on your bench.
Yeah, I got Tua now too, just in case. And it sucks too because I started Tua last week, and if I would have played, even if I would have played him, I wouldn't have won just because K put up so many points. But if I started Tyrone Tracy, I'd probably win. But it wasn't really on my radar.
Yeah, I mean, who are you going to start him over?
I felt like Nick Chubb had a chance to get a touchdown at least, and I didn't know really what was going on between him and Singletary in the backfield. But now we know, but tough decisions, man. It's the little decisions that can kill you.
That's why fantasy is such a tough game to play.
Did you get fantasy points for David Montgomery throwing a touchdown pass on Sunday?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because it doesn't show up in the stats. It just, I hope it shows up in the, like, you get some points for it.
No, yeah, I did. Let me just look at it again. Yeah, I did. Let's see, because it doesn't show it on you have to click on the actual score and it'll pop up. It says.
Got it. Okay.
I got
because it's one of those
0.04 points for his passing yards, and then I got 4 points for his touchdown.
Okay.
So we got a little bit. Itty bitty. But
Hunter, how's your team feeling? Being 4-4.
Like I said, I mean, it feels weird not having all of the running backs on my bench anymore. At the start of the season, I had about 2 or 3 of them on my bench because I'm more of a running back kind of guy in fantasy. But I feel really solid with the 3 that I have in my lineup. I'm kind of shuffling around my wide receivers. I mean, obviously, I'm going to keep Drake London in the lineup, make sure that he stays in there, especially with how well he's been doing for the majority of the season. Last week was the first week he got single-digit points since week 1, so I'm not too worried about it. Coming in as the number 5 receiver, obviously a lot of upside there. Tough news for Zach and Stephon Diggs going down. Great news for me and Tank Dell, just on the come up now. I also have DJ Moore, who's been, he's been on the, he gets his targets. He's averaging 6 to 8 targets a week, so I can't complain about it. It's just now that Keenan Allen's back, it's been tough for DJ Moore to get any productivity. So I had to go make another move and get Amari Cooper, and hopefully that'll kind of, add some depth to my wide receiver room. Hopefully he can kind of figure out the playbook a little bit more, and he can kind of turn into what Keon Coleman's turned into for Buffalo, and he can be one of their top guys. But I also had a sneaky good pickup a few weeks ago with Calvin Ridley being a free agent. Being desperate and needing a wide receiver after Spence dropped him in week, I think 5. He was sitting there, and I decided to pick him up. And a lot of people are looking at the DeAndre Hopkins trade as, great for DeAndre Hopkins, but nobody really looks at it as great for Calvin Ridley now too, because he doesn't have to compete with anybody for targets. So I'm pretty happy with where my team sits. I mean, I don't look at projections too much, but being projected about 128 to 130 a week really kind of makes me happy with how my team's kind of shaped out.
Yeah, it's always nice when you're in the 120s in the projections, especially the high 20s. That's always a good feeling. Just makes you feel like you're pretty confident in everyone on the lineup. Can't say that for everybody in the league. So, we touched on kind of the matchups last week. I just want to do a quick rundown for B-Liga. B-Liga has now seen their undefeated guy, Jose Castro, take 2 L's in a row. So he's come back to earth a little bit. The lead there, it's still anyone's game, just like our league. Let's just run through the power rankings right now.
It's kind of crazy. Like ours, Kyle went from undefeated to 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, man. It's kind of wild because Jose Castro's at 6-2, Prestige Worldwide. Brian Schaefer's and Cam Erdman are at 5-3. And then we have 4 teams at 4-4. That's going to be Michael Dubois, Isaac DeTiro, Andrew Nichols, and Chase Schulenberg. And then Andrew Perez, Romero, and then Matt Borgman are 3-5. And then Eric Nichols is rounding us out at 2-6. But only one game separates him from the, we're getting right into it. So it's
well, and that's not bad. Last I saw looked at the rankings for and like the score and like the records for B League. I thought I saw Matt had like a win, so it seems like Matt's picked up a couple wins.
Yeah, Matt's
here recently.
Yeah, he's picked up wins.
Seems like their league is pretty similar to ours, where like no one's running away with it, and everyone's kind of the same. Like everyone's kind of sitting the same.
Yeah, the highest win streak right now is 2.
Oh, wow.
Eric has rattled off 6 L's in a row, so he's kind of doing what I'm doing. But we'll see.
Well, in our league, the highest win streak is Clint with 4.
Yeah, so it's even, man. No one's really rattling off too many wins in a row. Other than Kyle and Clint right now. But
do they have 10 in their league or 12?
Yeah, they have 10. They do 10.
Okay, so. But even if it's a 10 or 12-man league, you're still going to have like an abundance of good players. Like if you go and look at the players list of available players, you're not finding any. There are very few players that are going to be averaging more than 8 points.
You got Bo Nix, Herbert right now available. You got Devin Singletary, Algier, Charbonnet, Josh Downs. Judy.
A lot of those guys are backups, except for Bo Nix and Justin Herbert, who are quarterbacks. But I'm sure there are plenty of other quarterbacks that guys want to have.
Yeah.
So.
But that's kind of what the B League is on right now. So shout out to the B League. They're grinding through the season, and they're eager to get up into the Premier League, man. So you definitely got to watch out for whoever jumps up.
And it's whoever wins their championship comes up to the A-League, right?
Yep. So their league is just winner takes all. They do $25 buy-in, so it's $250 for the winner. Plus they get promotion.
Awesome.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see who comes up, and what kind of manager they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because for us in our league, We've all been in the league for years now, minus Kyle, who we just added. Mm-hmm. Kyle and Clint, because Clint joined last year, right?
Yeah, Clint and Kyle were last year.
Okay. So all of us, this is our fourth or fifth year in the league together?
This is 5 now, man.
Okay, so we all kind of know what kind of managers we are now.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what, like, kind of an outsider's perspective and being that type of manager would be to come in to our league.
Yeah. No. It'll definitely shake things up. Definitely. And it's exciting. It's exciting. And I think it's good for the league. I think it's good for the league. It's going to drive the competition. It's going to drive the just the importance of it, and it just makes it a lot more fun.
It'll drive the want as well. Like, it'll drive the actually, like, you gotta, like, if you want to stay in the league, you need to actually pay attention and
do your research
do your research, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
Put your nose in
and
the work,
if you're
man.
like making trades and everything or something like that, like for us, because like we've all made trades, like we'll reach out to the person like, hey, what can we do? Who are you looking for? What type of position? So bringing in someone new, seeing how they would be when it comes to trades and stuff like that. How would they be in those types of situations?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to observe all that. And just pray it's not you that gets relegated, because you got to fight back up through the ranks of B League to get back in it. You never know when you'll be back in, so
you may never get back.
Yeah, so you don't want to lose your spot.
No,
because fighting through is going to be a tough battle, but it's not impossible, but it could happen.
No.
Let's talk a little bit about these upcoming matchups, because I'm looking at your guys' matchups, and you guys have favorable matchups this week. Let's just start off with Hunter over there. Chef Boy HC taking on Chi-Town Bear Down Chase Remy. You got the edge, at least projection-wise. Let's talk to me about what you're feeling. What are you seeing? What's your scouting report on the other team? And just what's your message to your guys this week?
For me, it's really just my running backs. I need my running backs to show up and show out. They have some favorable matchups this week. Kenneth Walker going into a division game against the Rams is going to be huge for him. Saquon against a beat-up, tough, not so tough Jacksonville defense. Their defensive front is not looking so hot, so hopefully Saquon can get some stuff going on the ground. And then KC against Tampa Bay. It's not the most favorable matchup, especially with big boy Vita Vea up front, but I think that they can still figure out some stuff for them, because the Chiefs still have a fairly healthy offensive line, which is kind of rare to find this deep into the season. And then, Joe Burrow has just been who I thought he was going to be this year. I didn't think that he was going to be, a top guy, but where I drafted him as, 6th, 7th running back off the board, I'm really happy with where he's at. It's really just going to come down to Tank Dell and TJ Hawkinson for me this week. And it's just a tough one, because my wide receiver 2 spot, it's either do I stick with DJ Moore, which I'm kind of leaning not, and then now I have Amari Cooper. I have, what's his name from the Titans? And it's like, if I can get some sort of production from them, if Ridley can go off for, 110 yards in the first quarter like he did last week, I don't think that's going to happen again at all this year. But, he has a weird kind of quarterback there with Mason Rudolph. If Mason Rudolph has kind of found a new favorite in Calvin Ridley, then that's going to help me out a lot with the targets and the receptions. So I'm just kind of lost what I want to do so far, because it also, like I said, it's very tough, because Tank Dell is going to be the new number 1 for a high-powered offense there in Houston, but they play against the Jets on Thursday night, so I kind of have to make that decision fairly quickly. And it's
a tough matchup for him.
So,
but now since he's the new number 1 in Houston, that is very, very favorable for you, and the Jets defense is prone to giving up big pass plays.
Yeah, and so, it's going to be tough, because that's going to be the key for me this week is Tank Dell, because my opponent, Remy, he's got the running back for them. He's got Joe Mixon. So if I can get some points to go my way with Tank Dell, and Joe Mixon can kind of back off a little bit with his points, averaging 23 points a game is kind of tough to go up against. Doesn't matter who you got on the other side, So I think I have a very favorable matchup, but we've all been doing this for a few years. We know that nothing's guaranteed, especially in fantasy football. So I just need 3 or 4 guys to really show up this week, because I didn't really get anybody to show up last week. And if that's the case, then I should be A-okay.
Yeah, he's got some guys that could have some substance, but they're not necessarily high ceiling guys. Eckler, Lockett. He's rolling with 2 tight ends. Kelsey commit. So, and Justin Tucker's not been very good, man. Like,
No.
He's only made one 50-yard field goal in the last 2 years. So he's fallen off a cliff a little bit.
Yeah, he's 2 for 5 this year on 50-yarders.
Oh, is that so? Okay. He's got more than that.
Also, doesn't help for him that he has 2 guys on a bye, his other quarterbacks, his other quarterback and his other running back. So
yeah, Mason and who else was
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, yeah. So 2 big guys out there. Tyler Lockett. We'll see if Metcalf plays. I feel like even with Metcalf out, Lockett really just isn't the impact guy that he's. Like, he can't just replace Metcalf's targets. You know what I mean?
No.
Not the kind of
he can't.
He is.
And he's not the same player that Smith and Jigba is.
Yeah, Smith and Jigba is a little bit more. You can put him inside. You can put him outside. He's a little bit more versatile in the screen game. So you're really kind of banking on those intermediate, end zone targets. And that's just not something that the Seahawks offense is doing very well right now. Like, Geno Smith he can throw the deep ball. He can kind of do some of the short RPO stuff, but the intermediate passing game is definitely where he struggles the most. And that's where he just kind of avoids it at this point, which kind of hurts Lockett the most out of all the receivers they have. And the tight end, too. And the tight end, Noah Fant as well. I don't really think he's got much value either, but yeah, like I said, I think you just have the good matchups. Obviously, he's got Mixon and St. Brown. You never know. Kelsey on Monday night could be a big number for him. So, yeah, you definitely got to make sure you get to – I think if you get to 120 here, I just don't think there's enough points on that other side, or at least opportunities for points to be had. So
Yeah.
If you can get to 120, I think it's an easy win. If you're below that, like around 100, 110, it could be closer. But yeah, Kenneth Walker and Kareem Hunt can get some touchdowns. That'd be nice. And Drake London step up. Should find yourself in a win column. But like you said, anything can happen. Injuries happen. Bad games happen. So.
Yep. Happens all the time. Happened to me last week. Drake London, after averaging almost 17 points a week, only got 6 targets and only had 4 receptions. So it was kind of tough. So I need him to kind of pick it back up again. And then hopefully Hawkinson, coming back into a high-powered Vikings offense, can kind of find his rhythm again. I've heard a lot of good things from all of the, the reports and the coaching staff saying what they want about the whole comeback for him coming off that ACL injury. So hopefully it's something solid. Indy's not too bad of a defense to go against first game, but I think that them holding him back to play it safe an extra 2 weeks is going to really help him and provide some extra oomph for him. So
it may also help with Hawkinson. It could, with being that extra target, it could help. It'll either help or hurt Jefferson. So, and if they're focusing on Jefferson, that means Hawkinson may get that single coverage on a linebacker. And
Yep.
Even though the Vikings have lost 2 games in a row, they've been 1-score games. They've been right in it. Like, they haven't played bad in the last two losses.
Yeah. And my only concern there is I just don't know how much Sam Darnold likes his tight ends. We've never really seen a Sam Darnold like this before, so he could be really, really good with his tight ends, or he could just, again, continue to just use them as a decoy across the middle and hit his receivers on the outside. So we'll just have to see how it rattles out. But he's my only option this week because Freiermuth's on bye, so kind of have to play him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Rolling into Mittelman's matchup, Purdy taking on Manfred's bitch, Cade. And let me tell you, last week facing Cade, his running backs are no joke, man.
No,
Bijan and
they are
Jacobs
not.
carried him, and he had a good week from Evan Ingram, and with getting Puka back and Zay Flowers getting some help now with Deontay Johnson going to Baltimore, I think he's got a pretty good team here.
He does. It will be a very interesting game. I have the projection. The thing that hurts him, and we'll see if he realizes it and picks it up, is he doesn't currently have a defense.
Mm-hmm.
His defense is currently on a bye because he is San Francisco's. The guys that scare me on his team are Puka Nacua for sure, and against a Seattle defense that is not the best. Like, Seattle's defense is okay. Evan Ingram against Philly, I don't know what to think of Philly. Like, they played great against Cincinnati, but how great is Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean,
Kamish, you're the AFC North expert. Like, is Cincinnati even good?
Their defense has been pretty shaky. Like, their secondary's been banged up. They lost another safety, so they're very hurt in the back end. So,
and then Waddle against the Bills defense, like, that doesn't really scare me because Tua's still coming back, and I don't know how much he trusts Jalen Waddle.
and I mean,
Zay Flowers,
McDaniels against. Is that his name, McDaniels, or is it?
Yeah,
McDaniel.
Mike McDaniels.
Mike McDaniel against Buffalo has not looked pretty the last few years, so I don't know. He's had a tough time scheming against them.
Also, Josh Jacobs is questionable. Bijan is always tough because he can do multiple things, and then all depends on what Caleb Williams does.
Yeah, if he kind of stinks it up last week like he did last week, or he could also drop 30.
The one thing that helps in my favor is, for me, like, if I stick with Mahomes at quarterback, Mahomes plays on Monday night, so I get that little bit of a buffer.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can sit back and be like, okay, I need this many points from Mahomes, and seeing how things go on Sunday. Also, neither of us have a player that goes on Thursday, so we'll have a pretty good idea what the score is going to be going into Sunday. And also, looking at his team, he doesn't have anyone that plays Sunday night. Mm-hmm. So there's not going to be any, like, last-minute points coming out of anywhere. So we may have a pretty good idea. With my team, I'm in the trying to figure out my receiver. Like, which receivers do I play? Like, last week I had Devontae Smith on the bench, yet he goes off for a touchdown and 100-plus yards. Like, Devontae Smith last week puts up 21 points, 7 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Like, it's a week coming after he had 0.8 points.
Yeah.
So,
and it's tough just because obviously you got Darnell Mooney, Devonta Smith, Keon Coleman, Romeo Doubs, DeAndre Hopkins. It's kind of just like trying to find the one of the two guys that are going to find a touchdown that week, or
right?
Find a successful
and I'll say that the thing that helped me last week was playing Bo Nix at quarterback over Mahomes. If I start Mahomes, I don't win that game.
Yeah, that's a big time. That's a big time move to make.
So it's tough. Detroit's defense has a tough game against Green Bay, so their defense. But I will say the one thing that helps with Detroit is their special teams is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at what who's the returner for
Khalif Raymond?
Yeah, Khalif Raymond. Like, he had 190 yards return yards last week.
Yeah, he balled out.
So it'll be interesting to see what goes on. And I will say one of my saving graces this season has been James Cook and Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Brock Bowers has been money for you.
Even though he's only put up a couple touchdowns this season, maybe even only one, he's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll get 5 catches for anywhere between 50 and 75 yards. So it is helpful. Brock Bowers has a touchdown on the season, and it was against the Broncos, but is averaging 13 points a game coming from the tight end spot as a rookie tight end.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the one thing that I still have to figure out is who do I put in my flex spot, because I'm a diehard Broncos fan. I don't know if I trust Javonte Williams against the Ravens defense.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the Browns Ravens game. I don't know how the Ravens run defense is.
They're legit. They're very stout in the middle. They're a little more susceptible on the edge, but they got really good D tackles and linebackers, middle linebackers.
So it's just trying to figure out who do I put in that flex spot. Do I put Keon Coleman, who's starting to really build a rapport with Josh Allen, and then, or do I run the risk of putting double tight ends? But who knows? It's trying to figure out those not necessarily holes. It's just question marks in the lineup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and then, I'm looking at my matchup with Jake. He's projected 138 points, so I'm sitting at 124. He's got Jaden Daniels, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, Jettas, Harrison Jr., Cade Otton, T. Higgins. Minnesota defense, Austin Seibert from Washington's kicker. So it's tough because he's got some good matchups, man. He's really kind of leaning on the Commanders a little bit because he's got Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson, and the kicker. And they're playing.
That's interesting. When was the last time someone said they were leaning on the Commanders?
Yeah, and he's got Terry McLaurin on the bench, so he's big in the Commanders pool.
When did Jake become a Commanders fan?
I know. What the fuck is this about? But I feel good because even if Marvin Harrison has a big day, I got Kyler Murray, so it's going to kind of maybe not necessarily equal out, but I'm going to be cashing in on it. It won't be as killing me as if Jay Jettas went off.
Right.
But I feel like I have guys that can complement his big names. You know what I mean? I think Kyler Murray can dance with Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels obviously the better fantasy quarterback right now, but he is dealing with a rib injury. Maybe he's not going to be running as much. Maybe his playmaking's a little affected. I don't know.
Jaden Daniels did take a big hit on Sunday in that game against the Bears.
Yeah, so
he took a big hit on the sideline. So and also going before that last touchdown, before the Hail Mary that he threw, how many points did Jaden Daniels have before that touchdown? That's another thing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how good of a game he had. Let's see. I guess I can take a look.
Because they kicked 4 field goals and then threw a Hail Mary.
So he had 24 points. He had a touchdown, 40-yard touchdown bonus. So yeah, that probably did a 10-point play for him on that. So
on that one Hail Mary, and then another thing that also is that go with our league, and I think we've all started to realize a quarterback that can run is better than a pocket quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, because you can get those rushing yards. Look at what Jalen Hurts did this past weekend and how he helped for Bradbury's team.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, had 3 rushing touchdowns this weekend? 2 or 3?
Yeah,
yep.
Something like that.
So a rushing quarterback can help you a ton.
Yeah, I've seen that with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's been pretty amazing with
Like
that
Kyler
team
Murray,
this
like
year.
Kyler Murray can run. Like it's as much as we love. Like Jared Goff is playing out of his mind right now. He had 85 yards on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like
And his
that
three
was one of the
touchdowns are
that's one of the weirdest games you'll ever see. You have 85 yards passing and you score 52 points.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's football though.
Oh, absolutely. It also helps when you get, you have what 200 and like almost 300 yards in return yards in a game. So they had a punt return, almost had a kick return for a touchdown. But it's can we at least agree football this season has been one of the weirdest seasons we've had in a while?
It's been really good, man.
Yeah, with all the injuries and the players that have just come out of nowhere. Whether it's Jaden Daniels kind of turning into the new CJ Stroud, or some of these wide receivers that were supposed to be good that aren't good. It's just been really tough to kind of stay on top of everything for this. I feel like the teams that are good in fantasy especially are the ones that got lucky with players that just turned out to be better, a lot better, not just better, but a lot better than what they were expected.
Yeah. And I think you could even say the same thing. And I know, Zach, I know you're a big college football guy, and I'm sure, Hunter, you are as well. Look at college football as well. Like, it's the college football season's up in the air, too. Like honestly, if you went out and went on the street and asked 10 people, they're going to say that a different team is the best team and best team. Like, Kansas City's 6-0, but are they the best team in the league?
Like Baltimore
Probably
just lost
not.
to the Browns.
Baltimore's 2 losses are to the Browns and the Raiders. Like,
We're on the come up.
Hey, I will say this. Now the Broncos play. When do the Broncos play the Browns? What, week 12? 13?
All I know is that it's Monday night, December 2nd.
I know it's a Monday night game. I'm more worried about it that Jameis is the quarterback than Deshaun Watson.
You should be, because Jameis is a beast and that other guy's a fuck.
We hate I almost said Jaden Daniels. No, we hate Deshaun Watson.
Yes, can't stand.
All my homies hate Deshaun Watson, but no.
All
Browns
my homies hate Deshaun Watson. Yes.
No, and then but like looking at the NFL, like if I had to put it, I would say that the Lions are the best team just because they've played the best. But a team that I don't know how many people are talking about, Buffalo looks pretty dang good right now.
Yeah,
Buffalo's just
good.
a weird team because they always seem to run into rough patches where they just run into a team where they should beat them and then they lose, and then it's like their confidence falls and then they have to kind of rebuild it back up. And I think that them getting Amari Cooper is going to help out with that. But I just don't know how long their defense is going to be able to sustain what they're doing, because their defense is like the oldest defense in the entire NFL.
Right. And also, it gives them a benefit that their division is terrible.
Yeah.
They're bad.
And the division is terrible. It's like you look at some of these teams, it's like you look at the Lions, they're sick. They've lost 1 game or 2 games?
2, I think. 1. They're 6-1.
But think about it. They haven't played a division opponent yet. This is their first division opponent.
Yeah. And their
Pittsburgh
division's good.
Their division's the best division in football.
Yeah.
You look at the Steelers, who are 6-2. They haven't played a division game yet. So,
God.
and seems like your cat was hating you for a second there,
God,
bud.
She fucking got her claws stuck in my back. God damn. All right.
But no,
That
like
was something.
with Pittsburgh, they haven't played a division game yet. So how good are some of these teams who they've played, their out of division games or their NFC or AFC counterparts. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting it will be the rest of the season will be interesting. it's here's a take. I think Cleveland will probably end up with a better record than Cincinnati.
Oh, well, that's a fact, bro. Cincinnati.
See, and I hope is
but
that the Browns go.
Let's get back to the matchups because we can talk NFL all day.
Can the Browns go into Pittsburgh and win, please? I need Russell Wilson to lose.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, we can. But this matchup here, the top two teams right now, Kyle and Clint face off. So that's gonna be a good matchup.
Can we get a tie?
I would love a tie. Somewhere on the season, we need a tie. But that's a big matchup. So a lot of eyes on that one to kind of see who's going to drop down and kind of we can catch them, and who's going to kind of take one more step, kind of running away from some people.
Can Will pull the upset on Dylan?
Now that's, I mean, if Tracy doesn't play, Singletary gets a bump. Chase Brown can run into a touchdown. He does got Jamar Chase. Does have Jaden Reed. So maybe it's definitely not impossible, but is it?
He needs
probable?
a good Jared Goff game too.
Yeah, he would need like a really big Jared Goff game. But I mean, I just think Dylan's got Baker Mayfield on Monday night, Kyron, Derrick Henry, Neighbors Metcalf, and Njoku.
How is his team not better? Do you look at the players that he has on his team?
I mean, Metcalf, Neighbors been kind of injury. I mean, Njoku hasn't been good until recently. Pittman's terrible. But he also has George Pickens, so. But yeah, man, he's been putting up the numbers though. Like he may get a loss here and there, but he's got the numbers. He's got 1,019 points. Like he's second in the league.
Kyle could very easily put up another 165 to 180 points again.
Yeah, how did we allow this guy to get both Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb?
That's my bad. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's all these dummies out here. Don't know how to trade.
Hey, okay. Can I say why I made that trade, the CeeDee Lamb trade, real quick?
Who'd you trade him for? Tony Pollard?
That was Najee Harris and Mike Evans. Can I say something real quick though about that trade? That was more of a I don't trust Dak Prescott trade versus a CeeDee Lamb thing.
Who gave him fucking Tyreek Hill? Oh, he drafted Tyreek
So,
Hill. Oh, okay.
He drafted Tyreek Hill, and has Tyreek Hill been good this year?
No.
It's just tough because he's getting his quarterback back at like the perfect time.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, and he's rocking Achane, Kamara, McConkey.
I mean, and this is the team that I'm kind of talking about. Like, it's not a knack on Kyle's team. Kyle's 6-2. You got to respect it. Like, it's a great team. He's the team to beat right now. But it's like, who would have thought that Alvin Kamara would be the number 2 running back in all of fantasy football? Who would have thought that George Kittle would be the number 1 tight end in all of football? Who would have thought that, Lamar Jackson, yes, we knew that he was going to be a top quarterback, but the top quarterback on top of all that is just, it's tough.
Yes. Yeah.
You can score as many points as you want in the regular season. When it comes to the playoffs, how's your team going to perform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's all that matters. So it's.
So I mean, the goal is make it to the playoffs, because then you're right. Their team could run into a wall. They could run into a bad matchup, and then you get a guy that just happens to have a freaking big week and win it for you. But this last matchup of the week is Gus Johnson taking on Teal Barbie. Barbie's got the edge by 10 points, at least in the projection. I mean, it's tough, man. Gus Johnson's relying on just not very good wide receivers. Like Ramon, he's got fucking Jacoby Myers and a Devontae Adams that we don't really know what his deal is. You do have Brian Thomas, but he's injured right now. Alec Pierce kind of sucks. without Joe Flacco, so maybe he's better with Joe Flacco. But Juju Smith-Schuster's been nothing. And then Demario Douglas. I mean, the Patriots suck too. So
See,
And
and
he's
what
probably got
what
the two best players on IR in the entire league.
right? That's what hurts him is he has Nico Collins and CMC on IR,
so
and
he gets Nico back for sure. And then honestly, does McCaffrey even play? Like,
Yeah,
why
they're
would they?
saying he's ramping up to come back here soon. They're giving him another like 2 weeks.
I just, even if he comes back, I mean, is he gonna be
well, you
the
look at
30-point scorer that he was? Like,
you
he's
look at
got
the
an
teams.
Achilles tendonitis. What is it? What has he got in his Achilles?
Yeah,
Both of them.
Yeah,
and
both
but you
of them.
look at the teams that San Francisco plays after their bye. Like, there's a couple of games. They have back-to-back road games at Green Bay, at Buffalo, Week 12 and Week 13.
Tough
And
matchups.
what, Week 12, Week 13? That's probably late November, early December.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance both of those games could be in the snow. And then he has a game at the Rams, so a game on turf is not good for, especially if your Achilles is bad.
Yeah.
Playing a turf game is not going to help.
And it's both your Achilles too. It's not like you can favor one.
No, and then they have a game at Miami, like a December game or January game in Miami.
So,
when has that ever gone well for anybody?
I don't know. I don't know the stats on that, to be honest.
But it helps that San Francisco, they're kind of a warm weather team, kind of a cold weather team. It depends, but yeah, I don't know if CMC will even play this season.
I mean,
if he does, is he going to be the same player?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's the worst player that you can trot out there in your lineup, but is he going to be the game changer guy? It's like, damn, he's got McCaffrey. I'm losing this week. I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. So, a lot of intriguing matchups. This is a kind of like, depending on how this week goes, some guys could really solidify themselves like in the playoff race.
Mm-hmm.
And a loss from some guys this week could allow other guys like myself back into the race.
Yeah,
it could.
All these 4-4 teams. It's just one loss away from being tied up with me and me getting a win. So,
see, and I think that's how it'll be. Like, these next 2 weeks will really kind of solidify the season. It'll either kind of be like, okay, this person has a comfortable position to kind of get to the playoffs, versus, oh no, you're going to need some help. You need to really get a favorable matchup the rest of the season to make a push.
Yeah, because you're starting to run out of like cushion. Like, hey, you're going to start.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, these weeks are going to start turning into must wins.
Mm-hmm.
And the earlier you have that, the bigger trouble you're in, because it's just going to be like, we've seen it's hard to stack multiple wins. We've had a couple get to 4 and 5, 6 wins, but it's tough to be that, man. Like, it's just everyone's got a good team, or at least is capable of scoring a good amount of points.
Right.
So, that's kind of all we have today, boys. Like, I feel like.
What about the punishments?
Oh yes, good call. So we have, sorry, not the top 5. We have the top 3. Okay, you guys voted. We have the top 3 choices. So make sure you guys send in you rank 1 through 3, like we did last year. Okay, let's go ahead and reveal those now. Let me find the message here. All right. As of now, the top 3 punishment choices are a Hot Ones style interview with the commissioner on the pod.
Okay.
All right. We also have a comedy show. A comedy show in front of everyone. A 10 to 15 minute comedy show. And then the third one is the headlamp puzzle. My personal favorite. The headlamp puzzle.
Like, that one sounds hysterical.
Yeah, bro.
Like, when I heard that last week, I was like, oh god, like the other two, it's like, okay, like the Hot Ones challenge is whoever ends up doing it, whoever that is, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
The comedy show would be hysterical because whoever ends up doing it is better have some good jokes or stories or whatever.
Yeah.
The headlamp one, I think that's gold.
I just imagine like Will having to sit in a room for 4 hours with just a headlamp trying to do a puzzle, 300-piece puzzle, and just the amount of slurs and banging and everything that would come out of that dark room would just be worth it.
The question that I have is how big of a room does it have to be? Is it like a closet or is it like a basement?
That's a good question. Something to where it's just the headlamp that's producing light, so that he only has that to see. I feel like.
Oh, that's hilarious, bro.
You're gonna.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But hey, you know what? They may. It could be an Aaron Rodgers type situation. It's a darkness retreat for you.
There you go.
True.
Recenter yourself.
True.
That's hilarious.
So it's, hypothetically, say like, so whoever loses, and say it is the headlamp puzzle. Do we let the winner buy the puzzle for the loser, or do we all go buy it? Like, because like, if it's just a standard puzzle, that's one thing. But if it's like a complex puzzle with like a lot of design to it, that might make it even more funny.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, we wouldn't want to do any like. We probably want to keep it between 300 and 500 pieces.
Oh no, I'm not saying like it's 1,000 pieces. Where like between like 300 and 500. Like I have puzzles upstairs that have like hot air balloons and a lot of sky, so it's like just like straight blue. Like you don't know what is.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we definitely should like come up with a couple of like, hey, like maybe we all like, cool, let's go to the store and we find some and we like send them in the chat and be like, hey, which one should we do?
Right.
That could be the way.
I think a good medium one where it's not too easy, you know, where it's easy to find the pieces, but also it's not something where it's like a ton of Christmas ornaments on a tree or something like that.
Yeah, make it a little difficult. That'd be sweet.
It's definitely an interesting thing. Like I thought of one that I texted it to Remy. I was like, is it too late to add in suggestions and everything? Because I thought of one that would be really funny, but he'd kind of be mean. And Remy's like, save it for next year. But I figured I'd pitch it to you guys and see if I should save it or not. But I don't know if you guys want to hear what it is.
I mean, now I do.
Loser has to go get a colonoscopy.
A colonoscopy.
Oh my goodness. Too early for that.
Loser just has to sign up and go get one.
Oh my
How do you
God.
prove that you did that?
I don't know.
We take the person to the hospital.
You have to get escorted in and out by by a member of the league. Yeah, this is my emergency contact. He's the commissioner of my league. My football league.
No, but it'll be interesting to see
what ridiculous.
One of us 20-something-year-olds having to go get a colonoscopy.
Oh my God.
But no, it'll be interesting to see what comes out to be the punishment.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun kind of having the reveal. So
3 great options, honestly.
Those are the
Hot
3.
Ones.
Hot Ones interview, comedy show, headlamp puzzle.
Okay.
So those are the 3. Vote. Send your votes to Remy. Vote them. Rank them 1 through 3, and we'll have our punishment after that. Remy will calculate all that up. And
are we gonna announce that next week, or are we gonna wait towards closer to the end of the year?
I think maybe we give it maybe not next week, or maybe the week after. Just to give everyone time to process it, give it a little time to sink in, a little anticipation for the next one.
And like you said, the person who does the punishment is the one who loses the consolation bracket.
Yes. The regular season loser is relegated. So whoever just has the worst record at the end of the year is relegated to down. and then everyone goes in the consolation bracket. Everyone that goes in the consolation bracket fights out to who's going to be the loser punishment. So you can get both. You can get relegated and get the loser punishment if you are the worst team in that consolation. But if you have a couple good weeks at the end, and you score better or whatever, you win, then you then it's like, okay, at least I don't have to fucking do a headlamp puzzle in the dark. Or I don't have to fucking do a comedy show in front of everybody. So. And it makes the consolation bracket worth playing. Usually it's like everyone just kind of tunes out and just says fuck it.
True.
Right.
True.
So it adds gives you a little incentive to play the season out the whole way through. So
it does give the incentive of I don't want to do the punishment.
Yeah, and it's kind of okay, just because you won 3, 4, 5 games, you still got to win at the end to avoid the punishment.
But you got to win one game. You got to win one game.
You got to win a game, or you got to be one of the top 3 scorers. However we do it, we'll figure that out. But, yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Commissioners Podcast. Thanks for joining me, Spencer and Hunter.
Of course.
We'll see everyone next week.